Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous, fabulous. Always good to have you on the program here. It's a lot of fun to, chat and all that kind of stuff. Got a special guest coming up today. Going to be talking to Charlie Best from DonorsChoose. And he's got this thing where you get to choose where your donations go, and it's kind of a cool little platform. So for people who want to be able to give and they want to do a little research on where to give, we'll chat with him to get all the details on that coming up in a bit. A toadstool is a spore-producing body of a fungus, but contrary to popular belief, only a few toadstools are poisonous. So I don't think I'm going to be eating toadstools to figure out which ones.
No, I don't. And I don't care for mushrooms much anyway.
I like mushrooms, but I don't know about toadstools. Isn't that a different thing?
They're the same thing.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, then I like toadstools. Hey, the Earth tilts at 23.5 degree angle. Did you know that? For part of the year, the north part is tilted toward the sun and experiences summer, and then it changes and tilts away from the sun, and then we have winter in the northern part. So that's why the winters in the southern part are in the summertime here. So
I see.
Because of that tilt. Pretty darn cool stuff. Coming up in a bit, we got some special things happening today. We'll tell you about that, and I'll try to cheer Heidi up in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Guess what today is?
What is today, John?
It's Friday, the 12th day of August. It's Kool-Aid Day. I like Kool-Aid.
I used to like Kool-Aid. I had it, though, not too long ago, and I don't like it anymore.
I haven't had it for years, so you're saying I might not like it anymore either?
Probably not.
Huh. Today is also IBM PC Day. So for those of you who have IBM PCs, today's your day. International Youth Day, Milkman Day, Sewing Machine Day, Shop Online for Groceries Day, which is kind of the opposite of Milkman Day, really. Vinyl Record Day, World Elephant Day, and Worldwide Art Day. It's a busy day. A lot of stuff to do today. How are you going to celebrate?
I don't know. I won't be shopping online for groceries. That's
Yeah,
a concept I just don't get. Unless you're like elderly and can't get out, then it's a wonderful service. But otherwise, I just don't
Now,
see
when
the
I asked
point.
which one you'd celebrate, I thought for sure you'd say elephants because...
I love elephants.
Yeah, I knew that. World Elephant Day today. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time, too. You decide when messages are sent, and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
Have you ever seen the movie The Birds, the Alfred Hitchcock movie?
Yeah.
Did you ever think when you watched that was far-fetched, that birds wouldn't, attack people?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of happening right now in Sonoma, California. This is the craziest thing ever. Now, listen to this. There are birds terrorizing people. And the birds, well, it's a flock of chickens. There's a wandering flock of hens and roosters, and they've been attacking neighborhood children for no apparent reason.
Oh, my gosh.
And this is happening in Sonoma, California. City officials have voted to ban the belligerent birds. Santa Rosa Press Democrat newspaper there reports that the Sonoma Council, faced with horrible stories of mounting chicken aggression, decided it was time for chickens to go, approving a plan to roust them from the downtown plaza and distribute them to local farms. One theory circulating in Sonoma is that there's too few hens among the many roosters, and that's making the chickens more aggressive. So, how crazy is that? So there's a bunch of rooster chickens and only a few hen chickens, and they're all getting angry and feisty and chasing after kids. So it's like chicken gangs in Sonoma, California. That's a lot different than what you typically think of when you think of a gang. You don't usually think of a bunch of chickens.
Not really, no. But
if you think about California gangs, usually it's those other gangs. But no, these guys here are chickens, actual chickens that are attacking children on the streets of Sonoma, California. They're known for their wine, aren't they? Isn't that in wine country, Sonoma, California?
Chickens?
No, the Sonoma. No. Sonoma, California. Isn't that like wine country?
yeah, I think
Usually you think of that as like a peaceful, wonderful little area. Bunch of chickens going nuts out there. I think they're upset about, Colonel Sanders and all those other people that are cooking them up. That's probably what the problem is. Either way.
Interesting.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Here's an idea. If you're going to call the police to report a bunch of drugs, maybe you should make sure that they're not your drugs first. Listen to this guy. Trucker stopped his 18-wheeler in Louisiana, and he called the police to say, I think somebody might have planted illegal drugs on my semi. Sheriff office deputies showed up, not leaving well enough alone before they began the search. He said, by the way, the methamphetamine in the cab is mine, but I think they put some drugs in the back.
Oh, my God.
He said he uses it on long hauls to stay awake. He's been up for over 48 hours, and somebody's following me, and I think they planted drugs in the back.
Or it could just be the meth that you're on that's making
they,
you paranoid.
by the way, they did not find any drugs in the back, but they did find the drugs up front.
Oh, my gosh.
And they think that he was hallucinating. So they say paranoia is a side effect of using meth.
Wow.
I don't know. But he got a chance to get some sleep. He got a little shut-eye in the local jail. So there you go. Kids, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Lately, it seems when you turn on the TV news, all you hear about are stories about how angry people are with the police. Well, not everybody is angry with the police, Heidi. Take a listen to this story. A New York State man dialed 911 because he wanted a date. A sheriff's patrol officer rushed to this man's home thinking there was some sort of crime in progress. When the deputies arrived, the man claimed, it was just a joke. I just wanted to see a hot chick. I like women in uniform.
Whoa, that's not at all illegal.
That's very illegal. It's
Good
a bad idea.
Lord.
So anyway, he thinks that the women in uniform are hot, as he put it.
Just go down to the police station.
There you go. Or, I don't know, maybe there's... Do you really want them hanging around the police station, too? I just think you ladies
But you
are
don't
hot.
call 911.
No, you definitely don't do that.
I mean, if you want to see them, you go to that's where they are. Go to
There
the
you
police
go.
station.
I just think that's a weird
And
story.
how would he know there was going to be a chick that showed up at his house?
It doesn't say whether it was a man or a woman that responded to the call. But either way, that guy did a kind of a dumb thing. That's why he earns today's Moment of Duh. Your scoop of the day is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Donald Trump's childhood home is on the market, Heidi.
Really?
Yeah, guess how much it's on the market for?
I have no idea.
It's $1.55 million.
Oh, that's a bargain.
It's not huge. It only has 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Yeah. It's in the Queens affluent Jamaica Estates neighborhood, which is lovely this time of year, I've been told.
I'm sure.
I have no clue.
I'm sure it is.
A 91-year-old hospice patient has spent 15 years knitting hats for the homeless. Maury Bugart of Granville, Michigan, suffers from skin cancer and a growth on his kidney, but he spends his days knitting in his bed at a local hospice center. Since picking up the hobby of knitting, he's done over 8,000 hats for the homeless.
Wow, that's
Isn't
fantastic.
that neat? That's really cool. So sad to hear that he's in hospice, but what a great way to spend your final days, doing something good for other people. Police in South Carolina are looking for a woman who they say apologized to a store clerk during a robbery Tuesday. The woman has the phrase "no regrets" tattooed on her neck. But apparently she regretted robbing because she said, "I'm sorry," and then she left.
Oh, wow.
So just look for somebody with "no regrets" tattooed on their neck. There's a commercial where they're doing it, and it says "no regrets."
Regrets. I've seen the actual tattoos online that are misspelled like that. That would be awful.
In Germany, a guy was released from jail after serving time for theft. He walked out of jail and promptly stole a police officer's bicycle and rode away.
Oh, my gosh.
He got about a block before being rearrested. So did you learn your lesson?
He must have liked it in there.
Not really. I didn't learn my lesson. The Smithsonian is seeking a beer expert to record the beverage's history and influence on American culture. That would be a cool job for the right person. The work will contribute to a number of related exhibits within the National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., including the Food History Project. So if you are a beer expert, you might want to check that out. I know somebody that's a beer expert. We should talk to him and let him know about this.
Who?
Remember Ty? He used to work with us for a while. He wrote like a beer column and stuff. He was really into beer. I'm going to have to make sure I let him know about that. Officials in Florida are attempting to allow the dumping of more toxic chemicals into the state's water supply. That's happening right now in Florida. Whoa.
Jeepers.
Any amount of toxic chemicals probably wouldn't be good. While retailers are making their own coupons and manufacturers' coupons available through mobile apps, customers still like the paper coupons.
Do. Yep, I'm one of those.
They're redeemed 48-1.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think we might have talked about that. Something similar to that.
Something similar to that. But I'm one of those. I just don't. I'm always afraid that it's not going to work if I don't have the paper one or something. I don't know. I just don't trust them as much as I do just the paper.
Yeah. Some health experts are now saying that advances in science will eventually enable humans to live decades beyond our current ages. So they're thinking that pretty soon we're going to be, living into our 90s and hundreds and, hundreds and tens and, pretty much as old as the voters in Chicago. I guess that was North Carolina is where we just recently read a story where there are voters in North Carolina over the age of 150.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
According to a CDC study, Center for Disease Control, 9 out of 10 teenagers are not getting enough fruits and veggies. So, kids, when you get home, have some fruits and veggies. And scientists report that your hair is about the same strength as aluminum. So they're trying to, give you an example of how strong your hair is. It's like the same strength as if your hair was made of aluminum. So that's kind of cool. Now, my final story for the scoop of the day, and my favorite story for quite a while. One more reason to love bacon. Do you like bacon?
Yeah, I do. Not as fanatically like some people.
Have you ever used it as a theft deterrent? An 86-year-old woman found a new use for bacon. She was the unknown woman, so her name's not in the story, grabbed her shopping cart, and somebody came over and demanded cash. Instead, she smacked him with bacon. She hit the female offender over the head with a packet of bacon over and over. When confronted with this vigorous bacon defense, the would-be thief gave up and fled the supermarket. The woman and her cash and her bacon were all safe inside. So there you go.
There you go.
She beat her with bacon. That's one way to do it.
She should have beat her with her purse.
Well, she beat her with the bacon, and I think that's even cooler. All right, thanks for listening to your Scoop of the Day on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Whether you're following the election or not, you understand that it impacts you. And this will be a historic election. The mainstream media has their own spin on who's going to win, but PoliticalStorm.com lets you chime in. You can keep yelling at the TV if you want. See how that works out. Or truly voice your opinion and have it heard at PoliticalStorm.com. Be informed from several different sources all in one place. Watch videos, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials to engage your brain. You have a choice, and now you have a voice, too, at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us. We've got Charles Best. He is the CEO of DonorsChoose.org, and he's a former teacher. How are you, sir?
I'm well, John. Thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you on the program. I know right now a lot of kids are probably not in school because it's summertime. Now, there are a few places, I suppose, where there are kids that go to school year-round, but where we are, I believe most of the kids around here are taking their summer off. But as they're getting back to school here, you guys kind of have a neat message about greening our environment one classroom at a time. Now, how do we do that?
Well, we think about all the ways that right now parents are helping their children improve their impact on the environment, whether that's reducing waste in the home or figuring out how they can use less water. And teachers are increasingly feeling like it's their responsibility to show students how they can preserve the environment. And that might be through a student-run garden, or by participating in a park or beach cleanup, or starting a recycling program. There are all sorts of ways that teachers are helping their students learn environmental education.
And this is something that's taken off kind of all over the country, isn't it?
It really is, and the ways that teachers are doing it range across the board, but it's really become a movement.
And one of the groups out there that's really helping, in addition to your group, DonorsChoose.org, there's a company called Toms of Maine, and they've got a really cool Green Your School fund. And it's $1 million that they've set aside to help classrooms with environmental projects. That's a pretty cool project, isn't it?
It is awesome. Toms of Maine has launched, as you said, this $1 million Green Your School Fund, which is matching anyone's donation to an environmental classroom project created by a public school teacher. And at this site, greenschoolfunds.com, not only can you see the amazing environmental projects that teachers are creating, you can also vote on the ones that you think are the most innovative and breakthrough.
So you can kind of help steer those dollars in the direction that would hopefully make the biggest impact.
That's exactly right, John. And you might be steering those dollars to an environmental classroom project that's just down the street from you at your local public school.
Is it too late for a student or a school to say, hey, I have this idea and I want to submit it? Is it too late for that, or can people still submit ideas for their own classroom?
Now is the very time to submit ideas from both teachers and, as you say, from students who want to start a recycling program, launch a garden, restore a beach dune, reduce their energy use. There are all sorts of really fun and exciting ways that students and teachers can improve their impact on the environment.
And I know there are a lot of young people that do want to make an impact. I'm reading about a Nature Conservancy poll from a few years back that revealed the majority of kids between the age of 13 and 18 felt that previous generations damaged the environment and left it to their generation to fix. So they kind of feel like, hey, this is our burden. We have to do something. Here's a great way to do this with your entire class, and also to have some funds available from Tom's of Maine to help make it happen.
That's exactly right. And speaking of the fixes that you alluded to, that's exactly what people will see at greenschoolfund.com. And it's just incredible to see these ideas, which really represent teachers and students digging deep and coming up with the ways that environmental education can become really fun and hands-on.
Again, visiting right now with Charles Best. He's the founder and CEO of DonorsChoose.org and a former teacher. Let's talk about DonorsChoose.org. What was the concept there when you set up this site and set up this organization? What was your mission when you were putting this together, Mr. Best?
Well, like so many teachers across the country, I was spending my own money on school supplies every time I wanted to do a project, whether it was an environmental project or a history project. I usually had to go into my own pocket, and the same was true of my colleagues. And we figured that if people could see where their money was going when making a charitable donation, then they might give to the classroom requests that my colleagues and I had for our students. And so we launched Donors Choose as a really easy way for anyone to help a classroom in need.
So if you click on there, and I apologize, I have not clicked on the site. I should get on there and check it out. But if you get on there, you can kind of choose where you would make your donation, and you would help impact classrooms around the country then?
That's exactly right. Teachers in public schools across America create classroom project requests. People can give to the project of their choice. And if that project is an environmental classroom project, Tom's of Maine will be matching your donation.
Well, that's a really cool thing. So thank you for doing what you're doing to help that next generation. I think it's really important when people are young, when kids are young, when they have that little spark where they're going, I want to make a difference, to fuel that spark, I think is so important, because I've seen kids who have had an interest in doing something, and because they had the fuel on that spark, it ignited and turned into something that impacted their entire community. I've also, sadly, seen kids who had an idea that were kind of shot down by their teacher, and it didn't happen. And that's a scenario. The student, not only did they not get to do the project they wanted to do, but I remember seeing that where they kind of it impacted their life in a negative way, because it was almost like they became cynical. Well, nobody cares anyway. Well, it's not the truth. People do care. And I'm really glad that you've got this site. Even if it's not somebody right in my community, I can click on there and help kids. I can be that fuel on their spark. I can help students, and I can help classrooms put together these projects that are going to have a positive impact.
That's exactly right, John. You can make sure that the seeds that are being planted really do blossom.
Thank you again for doing what you're doing. I think it sounds like a really cool thing. Again, our guest today, Charles Best, founder and CEO of DonorsChoose.org. Now, it says you're a former teacher. How long were you a teacher, sir?
I taught for 5 years, and I taught history and literature.
And in which part of the country did you teach in?
I taught in the Bronx, 10th and 11th grade.
The Bronx. So that's, they're known as the cushiest, easiest place to teach, right?
Oh, yeah. We had all the resources we needed.
You had everything you needed, and you guys always, everything was always just easy. No, they're actually known as one of the toughest places to teach, aren't they?
It was a struggling community economically, and our school did not have all the resources we teachers needed to give our students a really lively, hands-on education. That's what we wanted, and that's why I started DonorsChoose.org.
Well, Charles, I think everything happens for a reason, and I believe you were teaching in that school district to come up with this very idea right here to help not only in that school district but all around the country. So thank you for doing what you're doing, sir.
Oh, thank thank you, John, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Again, our guest today has been Charles Best, founder and CEO of DonorsChoose.org, and it's really a cool site. You can go and plug into projects right in your area or around the country and choose where you'd like to give your funds. And again, if it's a project that's going to green the environment, Tom's of Maine has their Green Your School Fund, $1 million they set aside to help classroom environmental projects. You can learn more, and I'll give you that website right now. Again, it's DonorsChoose.org. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Roman word for secretary actually means one who keeps a secret.
Oh.
So, like secretary is how it's spelled. Secretary, one who keeps a secret.
Why? Do secretaries keep a lot of secrets?
Oh, some secretaries do. Hey, the fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The average person will consume 12,000 gallons of water in their lifetime.
Oh.
It's a lot of water. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Money is not made of paper. It's made of cloth. It's woven linen.
I actually knew that. Our son told me that.
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In Singapore, there are an average of 26 restaurants per square mile. It's a lot of restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah. The typical chicken hen lays 19 dozen eggs a year. That's another fun fact. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Alaska, the state, could hold 21 small estates in our country, all inside of the borders of Alaska, and still have a little room left over.
That's crazy.
It's a big state. Big state. Couple of fun facts for you right there on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time, too. You decide when messages are sent, and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. The average guy spends 67 minutes a day behind the wheel of his car. And poor driving posture can increase your risk of having back and neck and shoulder pain. Here are some ways to avoid these problems. They're saying first thing you need to do is empty your pockets. A wallet in your back pocket raises one hip above the other, twisting your spine and straining your lower back.
Yep, I knew that.
I carry my wallet in my back pocket, but it doesn't have enough in it to really lift me up. So
I bet it does. Enough to...
Just IOUs and receipts and stuff. Yeah, so they're saying you're supposed to put that in your front pocket. I'm going to have to try that. That would be kind of weird, but I'll have to give it a whirl. Next, it says use the lumbar support in your seat or buy a back support cushion if you don't have a lumbar support. It helps maintain the natural curve of your spine, also tilts your seat back. Also, you should tilt your seat back to reduce pressure on your back. So that's a good idea. I don't think I want to get too cozy when I'm driving. I'll fall asleep.
No, and I every time I get in the car after you've been driving, you've got the seat back, and I always have to pull it forward because I feel like I'm laying down if I'm not sitting upright.
No, I don't like lay it back. I push it back as far as. Nah, I don't think so.
It's tilted back, and I'm like leaning back away from the steering wheel. It's weird.
I can't help it if I drive gangsta style.
Yeah.
I don't really. Next, it says close your window or open it all the way, but having your window cracked sends a breeze over your neck, causing stiffness as your muscles contract. So they're saying either close it or open it, one or the other.
In or out, in or out.
Yeah, you can.
My dad always said that to me in the summer. We'd be coming in and out of that. Yeah.
And the last one is always keep your thumbs on the rim of the steering wheel. Hanging them over the spokes can lead to damaged and sore tendons.
Spokes? Who got spokes on their steering wheel?
I think that's the thing that goes from the center of the steering wheel out. But hanging them over. So always keep your thumbs on the rim of the steering wheel. So I guess hanging it is like having it hang down.
I don't know.
I'm going to have to pay attention when I get in the car. I don't know if I do any of that stuff, but at least now we know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you think this internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can get a website for a few $100s, not thousands of dollars that are charged elsewhere. We can help you set up and design the site and then turn you loose to manage it, or we can help you manage the site for just a tiny bit more. Learn about this special radio offer right now at radiosavings.com. Get an extra $50 off if you sign up this month at radiosavings.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Listen to this story here. Carol Probst is good with a camera, and that's a good thing because her insurance company probably would have never believed her claim otherwise. Midway, Utah is where she lives.
Okay.
She came out and discovered there was a wild goat standing on her truck, stomping on the roof, smashing its horns against the windshield, damaging the truck's paint job.
Oh, my gosh.
Animal control finally showed up and put the goat out of commission with a tranquilizer dart and then released it back into the mountains. So the goat was fine, but they couldn't get near it. The goat was going nuts. She has a Dodge truck.
A Ram.
And it's funny because they have like a Dodge Ram
It's
logo.
a Ram. Fun. That's what I was just going to say. I was going to say that as a joke. I bet she had a Dodge Ram. But
she did.
Yeah.
Her Dodge Ram got rammed a bunch.
That's
by a
funny.
By an actual Ram. So I don't know when this happened, but I think I read about this a while back. So I just saw the details of this online. I thought it was kind of funny. So happened in Utah. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
A Chilean man dangled himself from the 20th floor balcony of the JW Marriott Hotel in Miami to protest against the local discrimination against tourists. What the heck is that?
Where, in Chile?
No, this happened in Miami. The guy tied a rope around his waist and lowered himself off the balcony with a sign that said, "Say no to tourism until Florida stops discrimination of tourists."
I wasn't aware Florida had discrimination
Didn't
of
know that
tourists.
Nobody really knew what the heck he was talking about. After a few hours, he was persuaded by police to go back inside his room. He was immediately taken for a psychological exam.
I would hope so.
Because they're trying to figure out what the heck is
Florida
wrong with this
has
dude.
nothing but tourists.
I know.
And everybody seems to get along just fine.
I think so, too. Well, this dude was so angry, he hung himself off a
Well, there
balcony
you
with a
go.
sign. How would you like to be the only one protesting something? And just hanging there by yourself like, come on, join me in this protest. And they're like, what are you even talking about? All right. Anyway, this Chilean dude did that in Miami. Coming up in a bit, we've got a story of what happens when your head hits the pillow at night. Going to talk about falling asleep on the way.
John and Heidi.
Whether you're following the election or not, you understand that it impacts you. And this will be a historic election. The mainstream media has their own spin on who's going to win, but PoliticalStorm.com lets you chime in. You can keep yelling at the TV if you want. See how that works out. Or truly voice your opinion and have it heard at PoliticalStorm.com. Be informed from several different sources all in one place. Watch videos, listen to podcasts like mine, and read fun editorials to engage your brain. You have a choice, and now you have a voice, too, at PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. You ever wonder what happens when your head hits the pillow, like for you to fall asleep and all of that stuff?
I know what happens in my head. I spend hours and hours thinking and overthinking.
What happens when my head hits the pillow?
You're out.
I start
You are
snoring like
out.
a minute later.
Yeah.
Sleep fulfills some basic needs like maintaining your physical and mental health, not to mention preparing you for crucial daytime hours. But a lot more happens after the lights go out. Did you know that sleep affects your memory and your heart and even the health of your teeth?
I did not.
Yeah, here's some strange sleep facts for you, like flexing memory. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
From a special vacation to a holiday gathering, long-term memories are predominantly formed during sleep when the brain replays recent experiences. So you have the experience, but then it replays in your mind while you're sleeping, and that's what you actually remember is the stuff that happened later. You remember that a lot better. So sometimes your memories are way better than reality for that very reason. It says sleep to a better beat. A good night's sleep is essential for a healthy ticker. Lack of sleep can lead to hypertension. Hey, what is it that I have? Is it hypertension?
Hypertension.
I need to get more sleep. Snooze and smile. Tossing and turning can affect your smile. Journal of Periodontology, I hope I said that right, shows that the amount of sleep you get can significantly affect your teeth. Researchers speculate that sleep shortage impairs the body's immune system and that can lead to bad teeth. So we want better chompers, get a little more snoozing. Sleep to your own rhythm. If you find yourself awake and energetic at night, you may have a genetic mutation. Well, then great. I already felt bad before. Altered genes may explain why some people prefer late nights. So they're saying find out when it's best for you to sleep and then just adjust your schedule to make that work. And finally, getting by with less. Some people can survive on very little sleep, while others require a lot of sleep to function normally. If you still perform relatively well when sleep deprived, the reason could also be in your genes, because genetically you don't need as much sleep. I don't get a whole lot of sleep. I get far less than you do, and it works just fine for me. I get crabby if I get too much sleep. So
here lately, though, we've been going to bed at about the same time. We wake up at about the same time, so I wouldn't say you get more sleep than me.
I used to get a lot more than you, but I don't know.
You used to get more than me?
Way more. I mean, I was awake a lot more than you were.
Yeah, a while ago, yeah. But now that you're getting old and feeble, you're needing more sleep.
What time is it anyway? 6:15. Okay, well, let's lay down and get some shut-eye. It's not quite that bad. All right. Anyway, we're married to each other, so for those of you who didn't know that, this conversation's not nearly as awkward as you might have thought. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is kind of good news. This is, I think, fascinating, and I feel like I'm in the future. A New York startup company wants to take computer-assisted language translation to the whole next level, Heidi. The company has an earpiece technology that would allow two users to talk to each other face-to-face in two completely different languages. Okay. Without a human translator stuck in the middle, and without any understanding of each other's mother tongue. The system consists of two Bluetooth earpieces. So this comes with two of them, because it would be very odd that you would just bump into somebody that has one of their own.
Sure.
So if you're going to a foreign land, you would bring this extra Bluetooth
and then
earpiece.
You have to try and somehow convince someone that doesn't understand you to stick this thing in their ear so that you can talk to them.
Apparently.
How on earth would that conversation go down? Wouldn't that be interesting to watch?
It would be interesting.
Because they don't understand you and you're trying to shove something in their ear.
I want to talk to you. Put this in your ear. Like, what are you talking about? Go away. Maybe that's... Maybe this is not good news. Maybe this is a bad idea. Anyway, I'll read the story here. System consists of two Bluetooth earpieces that connect wirelessly with a smartphone. Place one in your ear and give the other person the other, and bring up the language to be translated in the system's smartphone app. It will translate your conversation in real time. I've got a link to the story, and we'll have to see how they overcome that. If you'd like to read the story, it's at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. But that would be really funny to try to get somebody to put...
Maybe that's the few phrases that you have to learn before you go to the other country.
How do I say put this in your ear in German?
Trust me, it's not weird.
Yeah, put this in your ear. No, it's fine. It's very sanitary. I can't think of even what you'd say to somebody in your own language to get them to do that on the street. I don't know. Hadn't thought of that now. Well, it's a good idea, I think. Or maybe it's a terrible idea. It's out there anyway. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show on a Friday.